was trying to come live a little bit earlier, but today has been crazy, and we all know how that goes. So, I'm here, and I'm excited to be here with you all. So, side note, I have not been using my oils like I should be recently. This is not at all what this video is about. But I grabbed this bottle the other day, and all of a sudden, I have been like just getting stuff done. So, I don't know if it's my oil. I don't know if it's the fact I've really been praying over God to help me be at my highest potential each day. Not sure which one, but I'll take it either way. So I am going to go ahead and jump right in with you guys. Lay down. My dog's decided that she's going to walk all around while we're doing this video. Lay down, please. Thank you. So I hope that everybody is having a great day. Y'all, this video came up literally last weekend, and I have been trying to get it to you ever since because it's just been something that I'm so grateful that I know now. Way back when we started getting married, I know that there's people that have been in marriages longer than me and so on and so forth. You guys have it down. But for me, in my first year of marriage, it was a hot mess express. It was absolutely terrible. For those of you that don't know, my husband is gone a ton, especially that first year of marriage. He was gone 75% of the year. He just works a lot, and he is just gone all the time. It was really hard. I moved to a new place. I didn't know anybody, and I just needed him to be there for me. And we had totally mismatched expectations of what he expected me to do, what I expected him to do, and it ended out in a all-out war. So, with that being said, the first year of marriage, I literally can remember sitting in our little apartment and me sitting in the floor, him being up on the bed. I couldn't see him and just telling him, I want a divorce. This isn't what I signed up for. It's not what I want. And he was like, no. And that's totally my husband. That's totally his personality. It's just, no, I'm not doing that. And I'm like, okay, so what are we going to do? Because this isn't working. And so we've been through years and years of me going back to Oklahoma, where I'm from, while he's working for pretty much a year at a time, gone nonstop. And we've just been back and forth. Probably 4 years now. 4 years ago, he got a job to where he was non-deployable for 3 years. He was home for 3 years. It's the first time in our entire marriage that he had actually been home for any amount of time. And we got to bond and learn from each other and grow in such an incredible way. And it was literally just a blessing upon my marriage because I got to learn that I actually did enjoy and love the man that I married. And that I did make the right decision in all of the things. Like it was such a blessing. But I say all that to say we have learned many lessons along the way, and one of the things that I have learned about fights is most of our fights come from unmet expectations. So this weekend we were traveling. Long story short, his expectations were we were getting out of the spot that we were in as quickly as possible. My expectations were we were thawing chicken. That was going to take a couple of hours. And then we were going to go to the park and we were going to grill and we were going to do all these things that we had like 3 or 4 hours before we were leaving. So there's lots of things when you're living in an RV. There's lots of things to be doing in order to get things ready. Like coffee maker has to come off of the counter and down underneath one of the chairs, and everything that can move or shift while you're driving has to be put away so that nothing breaks, or that you don't open the RV with stuff all over the place. So with that being said, he came in, excuse my language, like a bat out of hell, and was like, and I'm gonna get all of this done. Well, packing the RV up on the inside is my thing. Like, I have it down. it's good every single time. I've heard all these horror stories about the RVs and things breaking and all of that. Y'all, we have not had one thing break when I'm packing this RV. It really only takes me an hour, maybe that, maybe not even. But I have to have my mindset that I'm ready to go. I was going to go feed Elijah and I was going to go do all of these other things, which were not on his agenda. So I say that to say his expectations were let's get up, let's get out. I wasn't there with those expectations, and it caused this huge explosion. He ended up packing the RV by himself. We ended up moving the RV. And whenever we got where we were going, y'all, everything was everywhere. Which then I was mad because I have to then go around and clean it all up. Which, if he would have just let me do it my way the first time around, we would have been good. But my point to say is in a marriage, whenever we are fighting and we are combating nonstop or even every once in a while, I think that it says something to look at what are my expectations that are not being met and what are his expectations that are not being met. Because that's such a huge, huge thing. We can boil it down to communication, but I think that even if we wanted to boil it down a little bit further, I think it's more of expectations that mark what it is that we are actually fighting over. Maybe you aren't feeling like you are being loved and the spouse of being at home and taking care of the kids, and you're not feeling like you're being seen and shown up. It's so hard for a man to understand the work that we do on a daily basis and that it's a real 24/7 job. We don't get breaks. We don't get to be sick. We don't get anything. And then we have to feel bad because we didn't bring a paycheck in, quote unquote. Or if you start bringing a paycheck in, are you bringing a paycheck in and taking care of all of your duties, like all of your things? Just have to be managed. And y'all, it's hard as a stay at home mom to feel appreciated. So one thing that I will say is set those boundaries, set those expectations, and set those things that you're wanting from your husband, because I promise you, men are one, not paying attention enough. They are so involved in their own world. They are not paying attention enough to know that you need to be told, hey, you did a freaking phenomenal job today. Just saying, you did awesome. They don't think about that. They're too busy in their own little world because that's a man. They generally get to think about them. We as women get to think about everybody. So they're not thinking about those things. They are totally not. So tell them, I need to know that you appreciate what it is that I'm doing. That's not selfish. That is totally and completely okay for you to say, this is my boundary. Once a week, I need you to kiss me, tell me I look beautiful, and I freaking rock at what I'm doing. That's fine, y'all. That's setting boundaries. That's setting things that you need. So whenever you're upset with your spouse or significant other or whatever that may be, when you're upset, figure out what it is that you're needing that they are not meeting that expectation. And if it's the other way around, think about what expectations that they maybe have that we're not meeting. That doesn't mean that we have to do that, but that does, like, it doesn't mean we have to do their entire checklist because sometimes it's not reasonable. But it does mean that we can understand and try to communicate as to how we can meet the expectations it is that they're needing from us, because it may just be a teeny tiny thing. Like I asked David, what do you want done first? What is the most important thing for you? And his number one is always the dishes. His number two is the floor. I want the dishes done. I want the floor done. If he's got the dishes done and the floor done, it doesn't matter if it looks like a tornado came through our bedroom. He doesn't care. He wants the dishes done. He wants the floor done. If those are done, he's happy. He may say something about the bedroom, but he's not going to go off like he is if dishes and floors aren't done. That's what I've learned. It's years of us being mad at each other because he's like, the house isn't clean. Well, he didn't mean that the house wasn't clean. He didn't want the whole house clean to begin with. He just didn't know how to communicate it. His expectations were, I want this and this done. And I'm like, okay, I can meet those two things. But you know what? The kids' room isn't going to be clean 24/7. So I hope some of that makes sense. I hope that that's helpful for you guys. I'm going to jump over here. I see a couple of comments. Hey, Grace. So true. Yes, they have working on having too much expectations put on my partner. It so goes both ways. I have so many, my husband, my poor husband, he is a freaking workhorse, that man. And he will still come home and change diapers and put kids to bed. And there's days that I'm like, you need to change diapers and put kids to bed. And he's like, I just don't have any fuel left in the tank. And I still get frustrated because I'm like, I'm tired too. But at the same time, I still have to remember that he works out in the cold or the hot or whatever, and he works his freaking tail end off. So, um, I struggle with dealing with when my expectations are not met. Yes, yes, so true. I mean, I think literally, Grace, I think the best thing that you can do is whenever those expectations aren't being met, to let them know, because we as women tend to let things just fester, and it's so crazy how we end up bottling up. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this in. We end up bottling up and feeling like frustrated with ourselves. I don't know how it turns around to a frustration with ourselves of I'm not good enough or I'm not doing everything well enough. But really, we put that on us. They don't necessarily put that on us. They may want something a little more simple than what we're making it, but because we're women and our brains work like spaghetti and it's just like everything fits together and everything's flowing, we end up getting this entire big ball of yarn or ball of spaghetti of all the reasons that we're not good enough, and making things up that he said that he didn't really say or didn't mean it that way, but we didn't ask him how he meant it. So we just take it on as our identity, and that is ridiculous, y'all. The people that we are with, they love us. They chose us for a reason. And I have to remind him all the time, like, hey, we're in this together, babe. The good, the bad, the ugly. You get out. You get, not that I have to remind him if he gets out. He's staying. He's stuck. But like, you change one set of problems for another in a different relationship. And at least I know what I got and he knows what he's got, and we have worked for 9 years working it out, and everything has been really, really good. And I'm just grateful to get to kind of come to you guys and share something that has helped me along the way. So I am going to jump out of here, and drop me any questions you have, drop me any comments that you have. If you guys love this video, let me know so that I can do more like them. And y'all, this is your group as well. Please let me know what it is that you have going on. I am so happy to accommodate or to be a part of your lives as well. So let me know, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.